Hi, I'm Ben. Welcome to my shop. Hi, I'm Ben. Welcome to my channel. You have no idea how many takes it's taken me to get this far. Anyway, hey, welcome. And wanted to tell you this video may be longer than usual because I'm going to do something a little different. You know, I did a couple of videos recently on my compressor, and after those videos were done, I actually did some other stuff. And somebody, Scout Crafter, I think, mentioned, hey, be sure and show us what you did. And then somebody else said to me, hey, you should give us a shop tour. You know what? I spent the last day and a half cleaning this place just because I'm going to do a shop tour. And I thought this will be very in-depth. I'm going to start at one end of the shop and just kind of work my way around and talk, and probably talk too much. Maybe I'll edit a lot of that out. Who knows? I don't know. But in any case, when it's all done, you'll know where everything is in my shop. So when I die, you can come here and take over, and you won't hesitate. You'll know where it's all at. So anyway, let's get started. I'm going to start over there by the drill press. So I got this drill press from a friend of mine. He gave up woodworking stuff and just started doing metal. And this is a very low-end drill press, but I didn't have a drill press, so it's great. For me, it works great. He said, don't do metal on it, but I have done metal on it. So it's difficult to adjust because it's one of the, I have to change that belt and stuff. So I don't really change the speed on it very much. I think I have it on sort of a middle of the road kind of speed. And then I bought one of these, I think I got it from Harbor Freight, one of these vise things. And that just gives me some stability when I'm doing that kind of stuff. I put magnets all over it because I use certain things a lot. Like this is that, I want to say it's like a beaver bit or something like that. It's a saw bit, and when I need to just drill something out, it doesn't have to be accurate or whatever. This is 1/4 inch, and I can kind of, move it around there and make it a bigger hole if I need to. Yeah, so that's my drill press. Okay, just to the left of my drill press is where I keep. These are the tools we use all the time. I've got this 1x30 Harbor Freight grinder that I use all the time. I like that this is real loose, not affixed to anything, because it's super lightweight and I can move it around. I often just scoot it back here and get it out of the way, and that gives me a little room to put some stuff down. I've got this I got at a flea market. I think it's a Harbor Freight one. And I've got a buffer wheel on one side, and I've got my hard steel wire wheel over here. Whereas on this one, this is a slower speed grinder, and I have my fiber wheel and my soft bristle wire wheel over here. If you're new to the channel or you're new to any of this tool stuff, fiber wheels have changed my life. It's really fantastic. I'm not going to go into it. I already have a video about it, but I use this probably more than anything. It's fantastic. I will say that just the other night when I got this wild hair to kind of work on the shop, I built this little spot for my wrenches. Now, I am missing a 9mm, so I've got one on order from Lowe's, and I want to change this one out because it's I don't know what it is. It's a ProMate. I mean, it's a good wrench, seems like, but I'm kind of that way. I want them all to match, so these are all Craftsman. up to this point, I've had them in a box, and every time I have a project I need to work on, I have to go dig through the box to try to find what I wanted. So I wanted to lay them out this way. And I had to put them on a board because the pegboard, there's nothing to nail into. It's kind of weird the way they've got it over here. There's a stud over here, and then I don't know. So I just decided to affix this where I could, and then I could move in small degrees if I wanted, just by where I put the nail. Okay, so underneath this bench, I've got this container that I put old sheets in that I can use for drop cloths. This is a Niehoff wire service display that we had at the auto parts store, and one of these days I think I might clean it up and do something with it. And then I got a couple of Sawzalls, and I got this Harbor Freight. You know, there's a recurring theme going here, right? I guess I go to Harbor Freight a lot. Anyway, I got this Harbor Freight tap and die set. Oh no, I got this off of Amazon, I think. Then I have a nailer here that doesn't work. And then I have a big framing nailer that does work. It's a monster, this one. And then there's another nailer here that doesn't work. So this is the compressor. I think I'm completely finished. And I've got it where I can maintain it in a good way. As you can see, I added a platform here. It's well supported underneath so it doesn't vibrate. I put shims where necessary. This is up nice and high. And what I did is I added, if you look at the other videos, you'll know where I was up to that point. I added this chuck right here. And I just keep that in there as a, you know, so I know not to pull that lever down. So there's not really any pressure on this at this point, but I put that there, and then I got a hose like this. I added one of these and one of these. So what I can do, if I wish, is I can, now it's coming out over here, and I can put that in there, and if I want, I can release air from here. So at the end of the night, when I'm done using it and all that stuff, I have a big tub that, there it is. I put this in here, I release the pressure, and then drain out any moisture that was in there. Now, one of the things that I find interesting is when I do that, and I've done it several times now, when I do that, it releases the pressure and you get this loud hissing noise. And then, well, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do it here and I'll show you. Because when you get, it sounds like all the air goes out of it, but then all of a sudden you get another surge of air, and I don't know why it's doing that. I'm gonna do it now, and I'll edit out a long part of the air. Anyway, check it out. Make sure to turn it off. Turn it off, and then I've got this here. Now watch this. It's gonna come back up. Sounds like it's empty. Sounds like it's all empty, right? And now it's coming back. There's more. I don't get it. So this is how much moisture was in there. I left it on all day today. We're a pretty humid area, and it was a fairly humid day. So that's how much water we got out of it. So above the compressor, I've got hammers, belts for the 1x30, saws, which I never use. I never use saws ever. This is a thing I got to try to cut plexiglass. It's really difficult. You know, mallets, like I said, hammers. This stuff over here, which is pretty self-explanatory. This is where I was putting a lot of my restorations and stuff, and I still have some of them up here. But I took them down because they're getting really dusty and really rusted, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. But so I reworked this because I wanted something colorful, because a lot of times I talk to you guys and I want something nice and colorful in the background. So I kind of redid that today. And of course my breaker box where I'm putting all the stickers that I get. And then of course underneath the sticker wall, I've got this little bandsaw. My dad had this bandsaw, and it's awful. It's really just awful. But it's good for one thing. Like if you got to cut a piece of PVC pipe, boom, done. If you need to cut a little piece of dowel off, boom, done. Some little piece of scrap wood that you don't need to be accurate, done. Because it really pulls. You can't cut a straight line with this thing. It automatically wants to make its own curve. So anyway, I've got this here, and then I keep my drills here. My daughter gave me this a couple years ago. I really loved it and still do. And then the other day I saw these were on special somewhere, and I bought this. And this thing has torque. When you're screwing screws into stuff, man, this is great. However, I did experience a problem. Let me show you. So I bought some of these things on Amazon, right? And I don't really like how they're multicolored, but I figured that would help me to identify them and all that. Whatever, get over it. And then I used this, and I've never had this happen before. I mean, I've had tips get messed up on screwdrivers. This crumbled away like powder. It just dissolved. So I'm going to take a big guess and say this was made in some foreign country without quality control, and there's a reason why it was very inexpensive. So I think from now on I'm going to go to the big box store and buy, DeWalt brand stuff. And over here I've got my shelf with little things, and it's funny, as I'm looking at it, so much of this stuff is something that I see somebody use on YouTube. I'm like, oh, I got to get that. Like I had, I guess that Tap Magic, which I moved over there yesterday, but that was something I saw on YouTube. And then like I get over here and these are, those, I don't know what you call them. They're those drill things that you start a hole, they're real straight. I don't know if you can see what those things, you see what those are? Anyway, that's that, and some screw extractor that I saw somebody use, and a little brass rod that I saw that I can use when I was making that knife. These were Dad's router bits. I think I've used one router bit. I don't know how to use the router very well, so, and it scares me because they really go super fast, and that exposed bit, it's just like, oh, I get real scared in the shop, and I'm gonna guess that that's a good thing because it keeps me super careful, Anyway, yeah, so these kinds of things, I tried this stuff. I don't know if I like it so much. Little stuff. Keep my tape measures here. Whoops. And yeah, so that's that. Let's head over here. This is a big cabinet that I got from my dad when he had his auto parts store. These are those, I think they're called Lozier shelving units. We used to have auto parts and lawnmowers and all kinds of stuff on them. So this kind of almost functions like a workbench, except I don't know how much I would trust. I don't know, actually, it's pretty strong. But my workbench, which we'll get to, is way stronger. This tends to become just a catch-all. This is the part where I have to do most of the cleaning, because when I'm working on something, you know how it is, you're working on something, you come out and get what you need, and then you come back out and you just gotta throw it here. I'll put it away later. This is my I'll put it away later area. Now, when I first cleaned up the shop a few years ago, before I ever started doing YouTube videos, I went and bought all these trays. I thought it was a genius idea. Maybe it's an okay idea. But the problem I have is these are filled with dead June bugs and dust, and you know, this was one of my restoration projects actually, and look at how lovely that looks. Oh my gosh, this is not a good environment to keep tools. But my dad had so huge assortment of things, and I didn't know what they were, and I had to get them organized because I guess I'm a little OCD that way or something. But so, you know, I've got like Allen wrenches, cutting instruments, these are punches and chisels, these are files, these are adjustable wrenches, pliers, vice grips, screwdrivers, you know, because you always get things like found this in the alley one time. It's a snap-on screwdriver. Well, you know, where are you going to put it? I just throw it in my screwdriver box, as it were. And then underneath this shelf system, I have several things. I got this toolbox. That's just sort of my all-around toolbox if I have to throw something in the truck and go work on something. More scrap wood. This is a toolbox full of tools I'll never use. I was just looking in here. There's even some stuff I didn't even know I had this. This is kind of cool. I should take that out. Anyway, then that's old saw blades. That's my junk bin. Anytime I don't want to anytime I don't want to go back and put the bolt exactly where it should go, I just throw it in there. More scrap. This is my router table. Somebody gave me a router that's just like my dad's router, and it was in better shape, so I put my dad's router onto this table, and it works pretty good. This is a chop saw that I use on occasion, but it's really a big pain in the butt to move out to the driveway and all that stuff. And that's a big tub full of rags, and that is a little tray that whenever I'm going to do a project in the house and I need something specific, I just throw what I need in that and take it out. And that's that. So, in all these drawers, I have various things like for example, this one, easy to find stuff. Yeah, and this is where I keep my sandpaper. I've just got, you know, the disc ones and this stuff. And so in here is where I keep my rotary tool stuff, Dremel stuff. I've got all my Dremel tools in here, and I got my rotary tools in here. And then this is just nothing. Okay. You know, when I started doing this stuff, I got some nice gifts from John McLaren, Rick McFadden, some other guys. They all sent me stuff, and I did a horrible job of keeping track of it. So, I feel bad because I'm sure I've worked on projects that was something that was given to me, and I'm sure they watched it and they didn't get credit for giving it to me, and I apologize for that. So what I'm starting to do now is, as you see, I've got a tray and it says Big Vic because he gave me that stuff. So I know that when I work on it, I can give him credit. 357 Magdad. This is from Rick McFadden, and this is the other thing I wanted to talk to you about. So this is some of the stuff that I got that I didn't keep good track of. It's also got some other things in it, like, for example, this is a project I did, and I was so proud of myself. And then I go back and look at it and I go, oh, that looks terrible. I mean, not even counting the rust. It's covered in rust. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start redoing some of my restorations. Some of the stuff I did before I knew better. And maybe I can do a little better job with it. So anyway, this is stuff I haven't identified, or it's either stuff I've already done, but I don't know who gave it to me. And of course I got a stereo up here, which I never listen to because I'm always videotaping, so I can't really listen to that. I got to figure out something different to do here. I've got all my hand power tools up here, and one of the problems that I have is, when you're in a hurry, you just stick them up there and the cords start getting tangled with each other. I really want to figure out a way, like maybe I might make boxes, half boxes, that I can give each power tool its own box. So I don't know, I think I'm going to do that. All this stuff up above it is just junk. Well, not junk, but it's storage, things that we got to have a place to put. So I can't expand into that area, so I'll figure out what to do with that a little bit later. This is my empty box collection. I save boxes. I guess I'm a hoarder, or I just always like to know if I'm going to ship something, I've got a box. And of course, our deep freeze. So this is where I keep lumber that's larger than that big, I have a whole trash barrel full of scraps, and I've got a stack of scraps over there, and this is just my slightly larger scraps. This is a parts bin that I got from my dad when he used to have his auto parts store. That's what he sold hardware at the store with. In fact, all these little nuts and bolts and stuff are from there. And of course, a bunch of other junk too, So that's the door to the house. My dad sits on the other side of this wall. His TV's there and his computer and all that stuff. So I can always hear what he's watching. And right now, it's a Bewitched marathon. And he is into it. I think he's in love with Samantha, frankly. Well, who wouldn't be, right? So this is where I keep my paint. This is where I keep my chemicals. This is where I keep can paint. Then I've got my what do you want to call it? Lubricants right here. I've got adhesives over here. Oops, and birdseed. That's not an adhesive. In the wrong spot, boys. Yeah, this is where my adhesives are, and that's yard chemicals, insecticides, car wash stuff. By the way, I'm never going to wash my own car. Are you kidding me? Junk. Just junk. Oh, gloves. Here are all my gloves. Yeah, rope, oil dry, and a tub of props for when I shoot photographs for work. So the whole shop is sort of like in a circle, and I've got my workbench island in the middle, and then as we've gone around the outer edge, like right here is the garage door. And a lot of times in the videos, you'll see that's open because, like, if I'm painting or something like that, or, I will say that when I'm shooting videos, I prefer not having the outside light in. That way I can control it and get a little better control on what things look like. But take a look over here. Okay, so this is my table saw, and it's got some issues. First of all, the fence is just lousy. It's terrible, this fence. I need to get a new one, but it's very expensive. And frankly, I don't know if getting a new fence on this crappy contractor saw, I just don't know if it's a worthwhile expenditure. It's what do they call it? Lipstick on a pig. So, but I do think it can have a little bit of a tune-up by me. I did watch some YouTube stuff. Of course, that's how I live. And I bought this, which is a little thing that reads the angle, so if you want to make sure you got your saw blade adjusted right. So I bought that. I got that ready. And I found the old manual for it. So, and I bought these wheels. These are, I did a very short time ago, I did built a work table for my daughter, and I put these wheels on it, on her work table, and they're fantastic. It's great. You can raise them up, roll it wherever you want, no matter how heavy, well, it has a limit, but heavy stuff, you can lift it up, roll it around where you need it, and then lower it, and it's solid. So, at one point I built a platform for this, and I put casters on it, and it was terrible. It was very wobbly, and you go back, look at the video, it's embarrassing. But these, I think, would be perfect. The problem is, I gotta drill big old holes to put this in that metal. I don't know if I can do that. A friend of mine, leads me to another issue. A friend of mine, I told him that I want to learn how to weld, and he says he's got a stick welder that I could borrow and practice with, and I think I'm going to try to learn how to do that. And if I do learn how to do that, then eventually I'll weld these on the bottom of this thing. And in the meantime, I keep it over here, and when I use it, I open the garage door, and the sawdust pretty much stays over in this part of the shop, and then I can get the leaf blower and just blow it out. I used to have it way over there, and it just made the whole place covered in sawdust. So let's go over here. And then over here, I have my belt sander. It's actually the kind you use in your hand, but I bought it specifically because it has clamps made so that you can flip it over and use that. I'd like to get one of those really big ones, but for now this is fine. And I guess you would call it a scroll saw. I have both of these mounted on these little, they're not Black & Decker, they're rip-offs of Black & Decker, I think, but these little portable workbench things. I have one on each one. I sort of dedicated them to them because I don't like taking them out and putting them back, taking them out. So I just leave them over here. Whenever I'm whenever I'm going to work on them, I open the door, take it outside, or leave it in this general area so I can blow it out with the leaf blower. And of course, this is the island. It's a foosball table, a Tornado foosball table, which I love, and I'm glad I have it, but I don't really have anybody to play foosball with. And it's very heavy duty, difficult to store. So I went, and I put this top on it, put all the bars and all the parts inside of it so they're out of the way, they're safe. And I use the heck out of it as a workbench. It's very solid. I made a mistake though. I wish this lip was a little deeper, you know what I'm saying? But before I go over here, let me just say, here is the fake, as I like to call it. It's a Harbor Freight again, but it's, I call it the fake because I think Scoutcrafter has, well, not I think, I know Scoutcrafter's is called Dake. His is great because it's got like a little pressure meter. This is just basically a jack stuck on a thing, but you know, it kind of works. So anyway, there's some more scrap wood. That's all old income taxes. Dolly, shop vac, some tables, sawhorses. This is my new spray paint oven. And then here's my workbench. So I built this shelf and I use it to store all my tools. And of course I got that Mall tool case. I still haven't decided if I'd like to restore it or not, but if I was going to restore it, I would. Oh, by the way, I bought this at Harbor Freight the other day. It was like $3. Super great, love it. inside this thing, it's got those pieces of metal. And if I could take those out in a, where they didn't cut your hand and stuff, I could use it as a case for something and really do a good job of restoring it. But I don't know, we'll see, I'm not sure. And this is the soapy water I used to, when I worked on the compressor. And of course this vise, which was a project, and now it's covered in rust and whatnot, but I'm telling you, this vise is great. I use it all the time. Yeah, so, I'm thinking this is gonna be my next project. So I was taking photographs of it, before photographs. Okay, so I think that is it. You've seen everything. You've heard me blab for, I don't even know how long this thing's gonna be. But anyway, hey, I thank you very much for watching. I won't blab anymore. See you next time. It'll be shorter, I promise.